Hi, good morning. How can I get in touch with the owner?
Or in regards to what?
In regards to an employee who has been employed by Vision Hyundai for several years, who threatened to kidnap, kill, and decapitate my 5-year-old daughter.
If it works at our store?
Yes, ma'am.
I can let you talk to our GM if you'd like.
Okay, but again, my question was, ma'am, with all respect, how can I get in touch with the owner?
You can speak to him and see, he can get you into touch with him. Don't
Okay,
have any.
what's his name?
Our general manager is Bob Stevenson.
Okay, is he available?
Just a minute, I'll check. Bob Stevenson, help you?
All right, Mr. Stevenson. Good morning. My name's Dave Ibarra, and I'm not sure if you're already aware of a situation that has developed in the last couple of days. You obviously know Mr. Theodore Teddy Loria, right?
I know Teddy, yes.
Okay, he does security for you. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Are you aware what Mr. Loria did a few days ago?
I have no idea what happened a few days ago.
Okay. He. Do you have children, Mr. Stevenson?
Excuse me?
Do you have children?
I do, sir.
Okay. Mr. Loria was caught on a store's video surveillance system, threatening to kidnap, kill, and decapitate my 5-year-old daughter's head, and then place it on the roof of my vehicle. And I guess I'm interested, Mr. Stevenson, in since you employ Mr. Loria and you have for the past several years as security and as a auto locator. My question to you, sir, is what are your thoughts on that?
Sir, what's your first name?
First name is David. Last name is V as in Victor. A-R-A.
David, again, last name David?
That's my first name, sir.
I know, Dave.
V
Your last name was?
V-A-R-A.
Right. David, I contract him, and he doesn't work for Vision directly. He's a contracted employee. We contract his services. Is this something outside the realm of what he does, or is this an altercation that you guys have between yourselves? I don't know. I'll bring this up with Teddy. I've never had a problem with Teddy.
Okay, I'm a little bit taken back by your question, sir, and I'm trying as best to answer your question. In all fairness, I'm asking you questions, so obviously,
Well,
it's only.
I got a contractor that works for me, and you're telling me that he tried to kidnap your child.
Well, that's not exactly what you said. What you said is this outside his realm? I'm aware. I'm not.
Well, again, what people do when they're not working for me, honestly, isn't my business. But if there's something that is disturbing the public, and again, he's using my the Vision name in vain somewhere, well, then it's a problem for me.
Okay, how about if I give you a different scenario real quick of an incident that occurred, and to give you some background, I'm not friends with Teddy. I do a lot of community activism work. Teddy, as I'm sure you know, is a very disturbed individual who has some mental health issues. It's been documented. The thing with Teddy, it's interesting that you mentioned if it's something that happens on work hours or whatnot. Several months ago, and I do have an incident report on it that I can get back to you on with a CR number. Several months ago, in the vehicle, which I take it to be a company vehicle, even if it's his private vehicle, it had Vision security signs on the side of it. He followed me to my son's school. They're both minors, as I dropped them off at school, and then followed me for about 5 miles from there, trying to run me off the road. And then sped away in the black Volvo that he drives, which I'm sure you're probably familiar with if you're at that store where he is. And that was, I mean, that was, I believe that was during work hours. I mean, I don't want to get into the whole semantics thing in a long conversation. I guess I'm reaching out to you because whether it's contracted or not, or whatever the details of his employment are, the fact is that he monitors your store every night to make sure, I'm assuming that cars are not stolen, that cars are not vandalized, that the business is not vandalized. So, I mean, I'm reaching out to you, and I don't know if the secretary said, the receptionist, that you would be able to put me in touch with the owner. What is the owner's name?
Dan Edwards.
Okay, and do you, I don't know, I guess my question is, what will you do with this information that you have an employee? I kind of, not that you were trying to be evasive, but I'm a little bit confused when you asked me two things. When you asked me, or one thing rather, when you asked me if this is outside his realm, I'm confused with that question. And the other thing is,
you gotta understand this though. If I hire a contractor or I hire an employee,
okay,
or I hire anybody, and that person goes out and does something outside of here that I have no control over, which it sounds like this is what Teddy did, that's outside my realm.
Okay.
If Teddy did something on the residence or the place of business where he works, now again, character of people, I get it. I understand what you're saying. Again, I don't want to tell you out there threatening you by no means. It's not what we're about. We're a community store. We sell the community. We try to take care of our customers the best we possibly can. I mean, that's kind of what the vision's all about.
Right, Mr. Stevenson, isn't it? With all respect, isn't it?
Again, I got 75 employees. Out of my 75 employees, you don't think not one of them are out there doing something stupid?
Well, this is more than stupid. This is pretty disturbed and deranged. But, Mr. Stevenson, if you don't mind me asking, isn't it true that Teddy Loria has sued Vision Dodge over his employment? You guys have tried to get rid of him several times.
No, Teddy was under contract when I took over the store over about 2 years ago.
But wasn't there a court settlement where he sued and was able to basically strong-arm you guys into keeping his employment there? No?
False.
That's false? Wow, that's pretty adamant when you said false. So he never sued. He never threatened to file litigation. He never started litigation against Vision Hyundai regarding his employment there a few years ago.
No, it's false.
Okay. You've never heard that? That's the first time you've heard it from me, or?
I've been with Vision for 11 years, and no, I've heard about situations, but again, that's internal business and has nothing to do with you, Dave. I mean,
you've heard about internal situations involving Loria?
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, Mr. Stevenson. You said you've heard about internal situations involving Teddy Loria?
There's always internal situations with every employee.
Okay.
Again, it has to do with business. It has nothing to do with the situation you're talking about, Dave.
It doesn't have to do with his behavior or his conduct on the I mean, as it pertains to his employment there?
Well, again, as a contracted individual, it's a contract. I don't have a contract. It's like if I go out and hire you, David, you work for me directly. Teddy was contracted in. He's on a year-to-year basis. This is whatever year he's been with this company.
Well, here's the thing. There's a police. This is not hearsay, Mr. Stevenson. So let me put it to you like this. There's a police report. There's police have viewed the video. There is no doubt, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that your employee, whether contracted or not, the individual who sits in your parking lot all night and guards your millions of dollars in merchandise, threatened to kidnap, murder, and decapitate an innocent 5-year-old child. I'm asking you, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that information now that you know that this is your employee that was involved in this, sir?
Is he arrested?
I'm at that to me to be
that to me know about that.
That to me to be
arrested.
To be honest, that to me is irrelevant. There's proof that this is your employee who did this.
I got to have facts before I can act on anything. Right now, I have a word of what you're telling me. Yes.
When I present you with a video of him saying this, what will you do?
Come on. If he did all this, why wouldn't he be under arrest?
So you're doubting that he did this?
No, I'm not doubting anything.
Okay.
But you're telling me that the police officers have viewed this videotape, have said that all this happened, and that did, and there was proof to it, they would arrest him. I need that same proof to have anything to go after Teddy with.
Okay,
I can't just assume that I can't cancel a contract on hearsay.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me explain this to you to be straight with you, okay? There's a very disturbing, and again, you said you have children. There's a very disturbing. So I hope somehow, some way, you could put the fact that you're the manager there, and that's your employee, and that I don't know if you have a relationship with him, obviously beyond work or whatever. But I hope you can put aside, the fact that, like you said, he's a contracted employee and this and that, and somewhat try and empathize with me as a father, because you're a father. So let me explain this to you, sir. Maybe this will make a little bit more rhyme or reason as to my frustration and the reason that I'm reaching out to you this morning, sir. New York State has a lot of laws, that people don't agree with. We hear about the gun laws. We hear about different things in the news that are controversial and taxpayers don't agree with. Unfortunately, New York State has a law, which actually I've been an activist for over 20 years, and I'm just learning about this law, which is a third-party law. And basically, even though I'm still learning about it and I'm consulting several people, including my attorney, about it, what the third party law protects is, obviously in this case, the criminal, which is your employee, who threatened, and who there's solid proof that it's him and that he's on video saying these threats. The thing is, the threat was not made directly to my daughter, a 5-year-old minor. The threat was made to a third party at a gas station, where, hence the fact where his threats were recorded on video surveillance. Okay, so there's no doubt, and it's unequivocal that it was him. Whether charges will be filed or not is something that I'm working on now. And again, the loophole there, that he may escape having threatened to commit a very disgusting crime against an innocent child, is that law. So let's skip over that, and let me tell you this. Worst case scenario, and Teddy Loria is not arrested because of this law, which would be very sad, and the same could happen to you, God forbid, if you have children. So I'm hoping you empathize with that, Mr. Stevenson. What happens then? Let's say this. Let's say I present you with a video in the next few days that shows your employee, Teddy Loria, saying some of the sickest stuff that you probably, sir, however old you are, have heard in your life, especially directed towards a minor. We all believe that kids are, off the table, so to speak, with any kind of grievance, any kind of disagreement that one person may have with another person. And I don't have a disagreement with him, but obviously Mr. Loria has a very big dislike for the work that I do in the community, and I think it's also crashing against his mental health issues, which have been well documented, bipolar, and there's some other issues going on when he was in prison. So my thing is, what do you do then? I mean, I present you with the video. What would you do at that point? Charges or no charges? You're going to see your employee on camera clearly threatening the life of an innocent child, and to decapitate her, and then to put her head on the roof of my car. And then he says that's how you get at David Vara. What do you do with that? Charges or no charges? Do the charges really matter in the end? I mean, he still works for you, and you're still going to see that he made these threats. What would you say then?
I don't want any child to be hurt in any situation for any reason.
But what would you do then, sir? That's just my question.
I have to look at a legality point of what I can and can't do. You got to understand, if I take Teddy and cancel his contract, which I can't do unless there is again, if you know Teddy, he does write a very good contract with his lawyers, and he's got a boatload of them.
Well, that's what I was elaborating at earlier.
For me, David, I'm in the same boat you are, kind of. I understand the battle that you're fighting, okay? I'm looking for my own loopholes to do what I need to do on my end, okay? But again, that's internal. Has nothing to do with you.
Does this come back to what I asked you earlier, that you've tried to get rid of him?
David, you gotta listen for 2 seconds, okay? I can't just take Teddy's contract, rip it up, and say, thank you very much, we're done. It's a year-to-year basis. At the end of this year, could I get rid of Teddy? Yes. That's an option that the Vision organization will have to make. It's not my decision, because it is under contract with the Vision organization. Regardless of what me and you discussed today, unless I could take that as something that he did against his contract to this store, it's like having, I hire you, David, as a community organizer. You come in and you do whatever you do for me. You leave here and you do something silly off case. Is that my problem?
It does reflect in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely, David. I 100% agree with you wholeheartedly.
We see it with sponsors. I'm not saying he's a sports celebrity.
Contract-wise, if I contract
right, but we see it with sports celebrities. We see it with sports celebrities. We see it with people representing brands. I mean, to chase a father and to try to run him off the road in a Vision car, that's pretty close, I would say.
He never drives a Vision car. He is personally in his own vehicle.
Well, he has your